what's going on? How are we doing tonight? So let me grab my camera and move it over here to the How are we doing tonight? So where's that camera? Trying to move me over here. So just like it says here, it's not about your views, it's how you're getting paid. All right, that's the key. It's all about how you are getting paid. It's not the number of views and it's not the number of followers. The very worst way to get paid that I have seen personally, the very worst way is to rely on your followers, rely on your subs, rely on the number of views you get. And it's simply because, and this goes for TikTok, this goes for YouTube, this goes really for anywhere. They're fooling you into thinking that's the best way to get paid. But what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to set up a clock here. Let me just set this up, and I'm going to make this for 15 minutes, and I'm going to make sure that I stick with this tonight. Because I'll be honest with you, in the past I have not. So I am going to set this thing up for 15 minutes, and here we go. So I'm also not going to tell you a bunch of stuff here, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, because showing you is way better than telling you. So I'm going to give you repeated examples of all you need to do. But the first thing that we do want to talk about is we want to talk about what it is that people pay for. And the easiest way for me to say that to you is that people pay for transformations. In other words, people pay for, are you ready for this? They pay to solve problems. So if you think about it from that standpoint, people pay to solve problems. And that means getting somebody from point A to point B. And let me just move this over here too, right? People pay for that. That's what they want. And we're going to move this over to vertical, and I'm going to make this much smaller so it'll fit. But that's what people are paying for. They are not paying for products. They are not paying for services. They're paying for transformation. Let's get this over here. There we go. Right? And all you need to do is show people how they can go from point A to point B. That's all you have to show them. And once you show them that, then they're going to believe you. And you show them that you can do it. And there's a couple of ways that you can show them that you can do it. You can show them by showing them what you did yourself, but you can also show them by what you've done for other people. And that's my favorite thing. I'll tell you what, I don't really like necessarily showing people what I did, because I've honestly been much more successful showing other people how to do to a greater degree than what I've done. And I would much rather brag about not what I've made or what I've done, but I'd much rather brag about what I've helped other people do. So let's take a look at what I've helped some people do by going to my community. Now look, this is a very simple thing. You have something that you know about. You have either let's get this out of here. You have either a profession, a personal problem you've overcome, or a passion that you pursue. I call those the knowledge buckets. And I'm going to just put this right over here so you can see it. But that profession, that personal problem, or that passion is something that can be monetized. And the reason it can be monetized is because there is a platform out here, and I don't know if you're even familiar with this platform, but there's this platform called Skool. And the best part about this platform is that you can take ideas and you can take categories of knowledge that you have, right? Let's get this out of here. You can take these categories of knowledge that you have. Let's bring this up here. And hopefully you can see this. Right? Hobbies. You can take spirituality. You could take tech. You could take music. You could take health. You could take sports. You can take relationships. You can take self-improvement. You can take any of those and you can turn that into what we call a knowledge business. Now, when I first found out about this, I was really excited because I thought, okay, that's something that I can actually do, right? That's something that I can get my heart behind, because I wasn't pretending that I knew how to make $1 million by selling some course, right? All I was doing was taking my knowledge in one of these subjects, one of these categories: hobby, spirituality, tech, music, health, sports, relationships, or self-improvement. And I was helping people with a transformation that I had already gotten myself. And what mine became is because I spent 3 years studying this platform and this knowledge model, that now I can help other people with it. And so that is exactly what I do in my group. For example, let me show you. And we got some lag here, so bear with me a second. All right. Well, we don't need that one because we're not anywhere near to that. So look at this. When you go to my About page, right? You go to my About page. Where is it here? There it is. You go to my About page, and you can see what I've helped other people do. Now, Cindy had a very large following on TikTok. If you're watching on TikTok, Cindy did this with a following on TikTok, and look what she did in 30 days. In 4 days, she gained 13 students, and by the 30th day, she had 30 students. And what you see here is that she was charging her students $99 a month to learn English as a second language. And because she had such a large following, what she was able to do very quickly was turn that into $3,000 a month in what we call monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. I know that's a term you see thrown around, but what you don't see about that is that a lot of people claim that they can make that type of money by selling digital products. I'm not talking about selling digital products, because every time you sell a digital product, you know what has to happen? You have to sell another one. You don't get that money the next month from somebody. And it's a lot easier to get somebody to pay you $10 or $20 or $50 or $100 every single month for ongoing value and access to you every single week. It's a lot easier to get somebody to do that. I'll take you on another one here, my friend Ray. Let's check out my friend Ray and what he was able to do. So Ray has $87 a month is his membership, and it is also an English as a second language community, and he's already got 13 members, and that works out to, let's do quick math here, 13 times 87, that's $1,100. Now look, I'm about to show you some huge examples of people that are doing this at a major level, but I'm here to tell you that's not typical, but that doesn't mean that you can't succeed doing this. All right? So let's take a look at what some of these people are doing. And I'm telling you, these numbers, they really are going to astound you because it's pretty amazing. Now, again, these are bigger numbers. These are not typical results. But I want you to think, if I could do even 1/20th, all right, if I could do 1/20th of what they're talking about, let's say 5% if I could do that. Now, let's look at Jade here, all right? Let's look at Jade. And I need to, this literally just came through today, so that is why this is not a little bit better and a little bit more centered. But let's take this over here, boom, and let's make this over here. Right, you can see this now. Now this is exactly what Jade does. She doesn't even use YouTube. She uses Instagram. She creates Instagram content. She's got a link to her bio inside of her school community. And you can see that she just goes from Instagram to her school community. And she makes $150,000 a month. Again, these are not typical results. But just think if you could do 5% of that. 5% of $150,000 a month would be, let's see, times 0.05. That's still $7,500 a month, guys. All right? So, like, for example, I'm looking at somebody here on TikTok. BC Pressure Washing. He could teach people, and this is just one thing that I thought of, but he could teach people how to start a pressure washing business. Now, if you're stuck in an office, you're stuck in a job you don't like, but you'd like to start a pressure washing business where you're in complete control of everything yourself, you could do that here on this platform called Skool. All right? You could do that on this platform. So let's take a look at some other folks here. Let's look at Nick. Again, results vary, okay? Results vary. But let's just take a look. Let's see. Let's get this out of here. Let's move this over to vertical. All right? Let's just take a look at Nick here. So Nick is what we call the GOAT on this platform. And the reason we call him the GOAT is because he takes YouTube, sends it to his school, and he runs a $250,000 a month school community by himself. He does not have a team, and he does not spend all day long doing this. He literally spends about an hour and a half every single day to generate that type of income. And all he does is a daily video, I believe, on YouTube, and then he sends people from YouTube to his school community. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a funnel. He doesn't have any of those things. He literally just has this one tool. And the cool part about these tools is this. All right, I'm going to take you to, this is my school community again, right? So Skool has a community, and this is where you can connect with other people, right? You can post things. People can post things. People can like things. People can comment on things. They can ask you questions. You can share wins. You can do different audits of different things that you're teaching people. You can have fun stuff in here. You can do general discussion. You can make announcements, right? You can ask Q&As, and you can separate all these ideas into different sections. But basically, this is a message board. But unlike Facebook, where you're not going to see everything, here you are going to see everything. There's also a classroom. Now, you can have as many or as little classes in your classrooms, or as many or as little classrooms that you want. But I have just like 3 steps to get people started, and then I have a resource library of different tools that I use. Most of them being free, but a couple of them I pay for. And then this is how easy it is to put in a new course. You just put in test. You just put in test again. You could use a cover image if you want to. You don't have to. And then watch this. Again, this doesn't have a cover image, but look, it's already there. And if you had stuff like that in other places, and this is how easy it is to get rid of it. If you decide that, let's see, we sent a code. That's how they're doing this. I forgot about that. You know what? I'll get rid of that later. But that's how simple this is to do. So you have community, you have classroom, you have calendar, you can have live events. Just like I'm going live here on YouTube, you could actually go live in your community. And if you make that exclusive content to the people in your community, then you have something that is worth paying for. Because what they're doing is they're getting access to you, right? They are getting access to you. And again, it's exclusive. That's what people pay for. They pay for transformation and they pay for exclusive access they can't get anywhere else. Because if you think about a concert, right? That's exactly what a concert is. A concert is people paying a premium for getting exclusive access. My wife and I just went to see Chris Stapleton last Wednesday, right? It was a week ago this past Wednesday, a week ago tomorrow. And we paid so we could see a live performance. We were able to get closer to him by being at this live concert with 30,000 other people. So you have the ability to do community, classroom, calendar. You can have a roster of your members, and that's all right here. So you can see how many members you have. Another cool feature they have in here, you can figure out where all your members are. You can see the majority of mine are in the United States, but look at this. I've got members in the UK. I've got members in, where are some of the places that I have members? I have members, believe it or not, I have members in India. I have members in South America. I have members in Canada. I have members in Spain. I have a member in Morocco, Greece. Just crazy, right? It is absolutely crazy because this is an international platform that in a very short period of time is going to have the ability for you to accept payments in all sorts of different denominations and get immediate payment from those people. Because right now you have to have a card and they don't accept PayPal. But very soon they are going to be accepting PayPal. And then you have leaderboards, right? So you can see where people are and people can compete in the leaderboards to get different levels of points. And then, of course, you have this thing called the About page. The cool thing about the About page is you can have a free trial and then people can get in and then you can tell them what the group is all about. You can have some images on here that show them what it's all about. And then you can simply, that's how you convert them. So it is a really all-in-one tool. That's my favorite part about it. It's completely all-in-one. And how are we doing on time here? I'll bet you we're already over time. So that is why I wanted to share this with you, because to me, this is an absolute no-brainer. Because again, like I said before, what you're going to do is you're going to create YouTube content. You're going to have a link in your bio on YouTube, and you're going to send people to this thing. Now, let's say you have 10,000 followers. All right, let's say you have 10,000 subscribers, or maybe you only have 5, right? Let's say you have 5,000 subs, or maybe even 1,000. If you could monetize 10% of that 1,000, or if you could monetize 1% of the 10,000, think of the kind of money that you could make just charging $10 a month. So if you have 10,000 and you monetize, right? If you monetize, 100 of those people at $10 a month, that's 1,000. And look, I've got this tool here that I created that I will be happy to share with you. It's inside of my community. And so this is where you're looking at this and you're like, okay, this is what I make from YouTube. And if you're like most people, you don't really make anything from YouTube, right? YouTube income is virtually non-existent. But what I made is this little tool. And it basically says, stop chasing YouTube ad money. Figure out what you're making from YouTube. And most people, honestly, aren't making anything from YouTube. The average educational content creator, and when I say educational, I mean about any of those subjects that I had before, right? The average person's probably making anywhere between $40 and $60. Let's just say 50. All right? Now, let's say the income that you really want, let's say $4,500 a month. Because if you make $4,500 a month, again, we'll do a little bit of math, 4,500 times 12, that's $54,000 a year to talk about what you want to talk about. It's to hang out with the people that you want to hang out with. It's to not worry or be concerned with things that you're not interested in. So if your channel's paying you $50 a month and you actually want to make $4,500 a month, here's the gap. It's a $4,450 a month gap that, guess what? Ads will probably never close that gap. Brand deals are unlikely to close that gap. So all you need is 223 people paying you $20 a month. And that's not that much, guys. That's really not. Let me show you a guy who built this in a matter of 2 weeks. All right? 2 weeks this guy did this. Where's our boy Evan? I should have had his picture and his screen up. I need to screenshot it. Where is this guy? So this is Evan Sean. Now, Evan came up with a brilliant idea, and that is the GTA Creator Academy. And he's not running ads, and he's really not even doing that much content. He's taking part in something called Growth Boost, because this platform, this school platform, they're running ads for us to get traffic to our communities. Now, in less than 2 weeks, he went from idea to 262 members who, after a free trial, will be paying him $25 a month. And his promise is he's going to show people how to make $1,000 from Grand Theft Auto 6 before it even launches in November. And it's a great value, because if you think about it, you're going to spend $125 between now and November to learn from him how to make that money, and then you're going to make $1,000. So you're going to pay $125 to make $1,000. So it's an absolute no-brainer thing. And so he's one of the guys that a lot of people are studying. And all he did is he created this thing, right? And I'm going to filter this by paid groups only. So he created this thing, which is a cover image, a group description, and an about page. And then people have a free trial of 7 days. And then he's going to teach them how to make that money. So look how quickly he did that. And that's because, like I said, this platform is advertising for us with something called Growth Boost, where what they're doing is they're taking, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep this that short, because I'll be honest with you, I can't stop talking about this platform because it's that amazing. All right? But that's how this thing works. Now, if you want to figure out for yourself what I might want to create a community about, what I might want to charge, how do I create those type of images, how do I create that description so people will find me, and how do I monetize my audience consistently? Again, it's not about your views, it's how you get paid. And this is the way that you do it. This is the way that you get paid. This is the best way for you to get paid, because it's the simplest. Again, no websites, no funnels, No email sequences, nothing. It's literally just that. So if you want to check out our community, what am I looking for here? Where is that thing? Where is that thing? Oh my goodness. Where did that thing go? Well, I'll tell you what. All you have to do is go to, I'm going to show you the address again, right? Let me show you the address again. So you're just going to go to my community, which is right here. And there is a link in my bio for this. But you just go to school.com, cashflow circle /about. But all you have to do is just click on the link in my YouTube, visit the community, check it out. You can test drive it for 7 days, and then after that, you're only being charged $9 a month. Now, I do have an upgraded thing where I'll actually do a lot of this design and creation and building work for you, but you can get started for $9 a month. You can't even get a McDonald's Happy Meal for $9 a month anymore. So you'll have access to the community, you'll have access to the classroom, you'll have access to the calendar, and you will have access to the leaderboard where you could win some cool stuff. And that's what this is all about. And you're also going to get access to this tool that I was showing you right here. You'll get access to this tool. And what's cool about this tool is not only will it tell you about your goals and how many people you need to close that gap, but you can also build the page right here. This little tool will help you build that page like I built right there. So real simple, check it out, and I hope you will, and you're going to start hearing more about this place. You're going to hear more and more about Skool because they are advertising on a big way on Facebook and Instagram, as well as they're going to start advertising probably on YouTube. They're probably going to start advertising on Google Ads. So it's going to be all over the place. And this is the early adopter time to get into this thing. And I knew that I should have made this longer, but I'm going to go ahead and kill this clock right now because we're done. But I hope you got something out of this. I hope you check out the community. And I hope you realize that it's not your audience. It's the offer you make them. And so they'll pay you monthly. And so with that, we're going to end this, and you guys go enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time.